The Boeing company has had a challenging year, but there was an apparent bright spot with the long-delayed and problem-plagued Starliner space capsule being launched into orbit on June 5, 2024. Veteran astronauts Barry Butch Wilmore and Sunita Williams were planned to have an 8 to 10-day mission to the ISS called Crew Flight Test, or CFT. NASA awarded Boeing and SpaceX contracts to be the inaugural companies of the Commercial Crew Program in 2010, expecting the experienced Boeing company to be the first in space with its Starliner. SpaceX achieved this feat when Demo 2 launched on May 35, 2020, for a planned 31-day mission. Since then, Crew Dragon has successfully launched 13 times and returned 12 times, with Crew 8 still docked at the ISS and scheduled to return in late August. Starliner is still on the ISS, as is its SpaceX competitor, but CFT has not set a return date, which was not intentional. CFT flight had several issues that required taking the Starliner back to the launch assembly building due to thruster issues and a helium leak on the pad. Once returning to the pad, the Atlas V rocket successfully launched the Starliner into orbit, assuring everyone that CFT did not encounter the same problems as the unmanned Starliner flight known as OFT. However, the enthusiasm for the CFT launch eroded as Starliner experienced the return of helium leaks and thrusters shutting down during ISS rendezvous. Despite this, Wilmore and Williams were able to dock, but the space-worthiness was questioned, and 62 days later, the Starliner is still at the ISS. The scandals and numerous mishaps have damaged Boeing's reputation and eroded public trust, leading people to perceive the CFT astronauts as stranded victims of a company no longer capable of doing anything right. In actuality, the decision to leave Starliner and crew docked on the ISS allowed NASA and Boeing to run detailed tests on what happened to Starliner. A quick return of Starliner would have meant the service module would burn up in the atmosphere, which would have prevented any testing to identify the root cause of the issues. Despite the uncertainty, NASA and Boeing have about a week to make a decision that will leave astronauts and Starliner in the balance. Supporters of the space program should cheer for the successful return of Starliner and Boeing's continuation in the Commercial Crew Program, but it would be understandable if they believe the risk of Starliner's crew is too great and choose to have SpaceX return the Starliner crew.